Yvonne Baldelli is missing after moving to Panama with her boyfriend, and her family is beyond worried when that boyfriend comes back home to California and almost immediately marries another woman.
They look like two people who have been in love their whole lives. You'd never know that just a few weeks before these wedding photos were taken, the groom, Brian Brimmager, was living in Panama with another woman. A woman now missing, and depending on who you asked, presumed murdered.
The last time that she was seen alive was when a local saw them going towards a boat dock, and they were fighting, and Brimmager was dragging her by the arm back to the boat.
It was shortly after she discovered Brian's secret correspondence with Kristen. But Brian said it was actually Yvonne who left him for someone else, ran off to Costa Rica with some mystery man. Curiously, Yvonne's bank card had been used at a Costa Rican ATM around the same time.
Something was definitely wrong because not only was she missing, but who else was missing with her?
Her dog. She couldn't have kids, so that was her baby.
She would have never left her dog.
So, with all the fake emails Brian sent posing as Yvonne in hand, Yvonne's sister, Michelle, filed a report with authorities, and Brian was brought in for questioning.
He did sit and agree to speak with the FBI when it was still mostly a missing persons investigation.
But he told them the same Costa Rican romance he told everyone else.
What did you do?
I called the Costa Rican embassy to see if she really went to Costa Rica. And she said nobody with that passport ever entered the country.
Even more troubling?
When I called the American embassy in Panama, they said that she never left Panama. You know, I said, we gotta do something.
So, working in conjunction with American and Panamanian authorities, Yvonne's family flew to Bocas del Toro to start their own search.
We, by ourselves, quietly walked all around the island as far as we could go, and then went back the other way as far as we could go, and we would do that every day. And we would look everywhere.
Grueling work for anyone, let alone Yvonne's aging parents.
There hadn't been any proof she had been murdered, and certainly no proof that she had been murdered by Brimmager.
What authorities did have was a growing mountain of circumstantial evidence. For one, those fake emails.
He was flat out asked, did you impersonate Yvonne?
Yes.
And he said no.
That's right.
In addition to that, there were upsetting reports out of Panama of Brian suddenly flush with cash after Yvonne's disappearance, buying everyone in the bar drinks while toasting her name. And as for those ATM withdrawals tying Yvonne to Costa Rica, turns out when Brian left Panama to come back to the States, he made one little stop along the way.
He purposefully took a trip to Costa Rica to bolster his story, to withdraw money from Yvonne's account to make it look like she had been in Costa Rica.
But of all the damning clues, there was one that stood out as particularly disturbing. Apparently, Yvonne wasn't all Brian left behind on the island.
Mr. Brimmager had brought a machete down to Panama with him. Then he had given the machete in exchange for a debt that he owed to a local Panamanian person that was there on the island.
That person then put the machete up for sale on a local website.
And Mr. Brimmager happened to have seen that it was up for sale. And he logged into that site and he posted a comment saying, "Don't worry, that machete was mine. I brought it from the United States. It's barely been used. I only used it to dismember one stripper."
A terrible joke or something more? Police bring the machete to the States for testing, but it comes back clean. And after over a year of searching for Yvonne in Panama, the family comes back with little more than a collection of traumatic moments like this.
We get to a shallow area, and there were like these garbage bags that were torn. And there were bones all over.
They would later turn out to be animal bones. But Yvonne's parents were forced to leave the island before getting confirmation.
And when we had to leave the island, and when we had to leave the country, I could not live with myself thinking that I left her behind and that maybe those are her bones.
She had a nervous breakdown and had to be hospitalized. Going through all that and not being able to bring Yvonne back was just very devastating.
At this point, Yvonne's family is sacrificing so much time, money, energy, searching for their loved one. Brian Brimmager is back here in San Diego doing what?
He's living the life of Riley. He is going to school, he's golfing. Kristen and Brian then had another kid.
And through it all, Brian maintained his same old story. One that was rapidly unraveling.
He denied doing anything other than just knowing she had ran off with another man. Once we were able to review the contents of his computer and interview him, it became very clear to us that he was the one that was involved.
Coming up,
This is one of the most tragic parts of this case.
does justice come too late?
Mr. Brimmager really took both of their daughters.